People would watch it then. I think if we talked about actual things and like branding, people are like, these fucking nerds.
Yeah.
Or if we just sat there and just talk shit on people's branding.
A weekly rip session of us
Look at this wiener, dude. His logo looks like a dildo.
Just shooting the shit about dumb memes that pop up.
Well, dude, if we had the proper editing, that would be the best. If it was like they can see what we're looking at as we're talking shit on what we're looking at.
Yeah. That should just be the podcast.
People would watch it then. I think if we talked about actual things and like branding, people are like, these fucking nerds.
Yeah.
Or if we just sat there and just talk shit on people's branding.
A weekly rip session of us.
Look at this wiener, dude. His logo looks like a dildo.
I don't think it's a bad idea. Marketing wise, probably brilliant.
No one's doing it. I mean, we don't have a name for it.
Mike and Jake says your shit sucks.
I mean, I think this is just going to be filled with a bunch of fucking 10-second highlights anyways.
Yeah.
We're not going to actually have a podcast. It's going to be just a bunch of like JRE like clips. Like they're like, where can I find the podcast? It's right there. Like go to the thing. It's there. Like the whole 90-minute show's there. And like I can't find it. Like nerd.
Yeah. You shouldn't be looking so hard anyway. You already came.
How would we get clips? How would we have clips if there was no podcast, guys?
That's right. You're supposed to piece it together. Do a little work.
Well, I mean, if we had our producer actually show up when he was supposed to on the first episode, but not a big deal. I mean, most people do this.
He should have understood the assignment, I think. When he goes through to edit this, he's going to know.
He's capping paintballs.
Counting paintballs?
Well, he can no longer claim he's straight edge because we know he's getting high off that.
That's true. That's true.
I mean, the edge be with him.
You got to take a little aspirin after getting shot the fuck up all the time.
I will tell you, though, he's doing well.
Yeah, I'm proud of the guy. He's come back in fiery. He and I have been talking a lot about the apparel ideas and different things to do as well. He's helping me out with the YouTube and everything, and he's got his fire back. He's in the old rise above again, like 4 to 5 days a week doing the thing.
Yeah,
got to be quick on those feet for those paintball games.
Yeah, he probably took a hot lap and was like, "Holy shit!" And here I'm straight edge. While he's getting outrun by a bunch of stoners and alcoholics.
Right.
Oh, shit.
That's got to be defeating.
So tell me, what do you want to do with the apparel? How do you want to set this up?
To be honest, man, like, I've realized one thing about, and it's not even really realized about the tattoo industry, but just realizing how people express themselves. And they generally do it through wearing badges. Those badges are usually the shirts they wear, they clothes they wear, the mission they represent, what it is they're willing to get behind. And the Force of Focus has been that for a lot of people, just in shares.
Yeah.
You know, and even anything from what I usually put on a static post. It's extremely just straightforward, cut and dry, no bullshit, in your face statements.
Yeah.
Along with like American traditional meets like patriotic fucking cowboy like imagery. I love that idea.
Yeah. I think, dude, like speaking of like content, like reach has gotten so much better. Not that like nothing I do is planning to go viral, and I'll help more people go viral than myself because I just don't care. At the end of the day, I post what I want when I feel like it. And I've got a few different businesses now that I have the freedom to be able to just do it because I think, and you know now, like reputation outspeaks volume. Like your reputation is everything now. You don't need to post. And I get it, man. If you're trying to build, a lot of people are trying to get those 5 to 8. But if you just have one solid post a day or a few a week and get your message out, but you've got the referrals and the references and the behind the scenes, like your circle communities, your school communities that are doing the work for itself, you're typically on autopilot. But you know, it goes either way. But I've noticed since I backed down from my posting and not having one main theme, a lot more of my old friends are engaging with it. I'm getting a lot more direct messages. But not only that, I think it's because I've built my personal brands now. You know, as much as like before, you know, pushing other brands, it's not bad, but people don't want to see multiple avenues of the same brand. You know, it's like, here's 5 guys talking about one fucking brand. That's cool. But like post your own shit, be a little bit more original.
The problem that I've come to find, and I mean, I've even done this, is the more you try to post, they'll lose you get lost of a lack of intent. Nobody really knows what you're saying when you're putting that much stuff out, you know? Yeah. So what's the intent of what you're saying, why you're saying it, what it is you want people to understand, believe, or purchase? You know what I mean? And that's kind of the problem is we've been told so many times, more frequency. Yeah. But the more you see that happen, it's either a lot of the same stuff. Everything gets super watered down to meet these like fabricated metrics, and you just get lost in the sauce, you know?
Well, I think it goes back probably even with tattoo industry, but as music, as a musician, when you're trying to find that riff or that one single, you forget about just the basic stuff. You know what I mean? Like you're trying to just write like man, what's my favorite song? And you're trying to sound like that band. Riff's trying to sound just like the other thing. Mm-hmm. And then you get so caught up trying to make that one perfect song, you forget all about the basic parts that you started months before that. And then you go back to that just easy verse, chorus, 2.5 minute ripper with a solid breakdown. And you got yourself a fucking masterpiece, but you're sitting there trying to add the intro and the epic outro and then the samples and then the breakdown and the guitar solo and then the other guitar solo. It's like, what just happened, dude? Let's just go back to that 2-step, you know?
Yeah. It's almost like the more you post, the more you become Metallica without the drugs.
It is.
You know, where you're just kind of watered down a rinsed out version of what it once was. And it just doesn't make sense to people. Some people still stick around because they're just prone to it, but you lose a lot. You don't build.
Well, no, they're sitting there waiting for the last song because they know that's the one. So they just have to like drink themselves to sorrow fucking waiting for it while you play the 10-minute fucking guitar solo.
Absolutely. Yeah. But I mean, look at it. I think people also get lost in the sincerity of a brand because they think it has to be so serious, you know, because you start adding like real industry terms like brand into any business where somebody started
with what we were just talking about that. Yeah.
Whether it is music or if it's even in the fitness world or in tattooing or just any creative venture, it all starts with heart and soul. And you almost feel like you're getting robbed when you add terms like branding and marketing to it. But all that is just systematic approaches to show people your heart and soul.
Well, yeah. I think when we show people the branding checklist, they think of it as like an interview or a job resume where it's like, no, just speak from your heart. But no one's ever asked them to do that. It's not easy for some people just to write down what they're about or what their vision's about. And no one ever gets asked that. When it's like when you talk to your friends, like if you haven't seen a homie in a long time and you go up to him and you're just like, hey, man, what's your mission statement and core values? Like, what the fuck? It's like, hey, man, tell me, like, what are you doing with your life? Dude, how is everything? They'll just, oh, dude, man, I went through X, Y, and Z, and then this happened. Well, all of a sudden, they're writing their mission statement. They're telling you, like, what their 3, 5, 10-year plan was, what they went through, the vulnerability, the relatability, without putting that stamp on it.
Think about it from, like, I don't know why this just dawned on me, but think of the psychology of it. Most people who have been creatives forever have expressed themselves through what it is they create because in a lot of ways, they felt like they were alone in rooms full of people, or they felt like they were abandoned somewhere along the line. So the best way to express themselves was through their art. So then you ask them, okay, now put that into words. It's like, fucking do what?
I'm still the same way. I mean, my only voice was screaming into a microphone for 15 years. Like outside of screaming, there wasn't a whole lot of soul. I did a lot of interviews, but it was all about the band. It was just the shit. But speaking about myself, it never happened. So like I'm the same way when it comes to my content. I'm better at teaching branding than I am at personal branding myself, although I'm really good at doing it. But getting on camera talking about my brand, it's because I don't feel the need to do it. Like I let the art speak for itself. But yeah, when I was a vocalist, it was like everything I said and did was on stage for fucking an hour every night for 260 shows out of the year. So, you know what I mean? You put me in a room full of people, I'm just like, what do I talk about? Like, you know, the band.
Yeah. And just like any other art style, it takes time. I tell everybody who comes into the force or anybody that asks me about content creation, like, I'm not like it's not a natural gift of mine. I was like, scroll all the way down to the bottom of the Force and Focus page. Yeah. It wasn't a natural gift of mine either. Yeah. You know what I mean? But eventually, that's the same reason why people get into poetry later in life or creative writing or pick up an instrument as their midlife crisis, is because once you realize you're creative in one thing, you can be creative in everything. And eventually it's still just another flow, and it actually adds to the intention. We don't always just create art for ourselves to hide in a room and just say, this is mine.
Yeah.
You know, some people do, but most people want it to be seen because they know it's a good way for people to get to know them.
Yeah.
But then when you monetize it, that's when it gets scary. Then you start adding the term brand to it, then it gets a little scarier. Then all of a sudden you're like, wait, scalability? Well, hold on. And I think that's why people get so comfortable in just doing what they've always done. Because when you start opening it up to more people to have an opinion and more people to question why, then all of a sudden it gets a little bit more daunting and a little bit more scary. But when you do, and like you break through that threshold,
Yeah.
and you find out I'm actually really good at this. You know, I've done it long enough. Now I'm really fucking good at this. And all of a sudden it gets that much more exciting to complete a piece or a song or a writing.
Well, I think that's why I've been so excited these last 8 weeks, like, you know, building out 3 brands and doing it my way and kind of from the ground up, is because everything I've learned previously and getting so good at it was, you know, branding somebody else's company, although we had our freedom, but, you know, just my voice, and then finally being able to put all my work together and be able to do this in such a short time. You know, I sit back and we talked about this. I'm pretty amazed at myself. And that's why I'm so excited about a couple new band projects I'm working on, because it'll be the first time I go from A to Z with the new project. There is no more Mantis. We've already know we've made ourselves known in that band, but taking the steps I help other people with and building that into a band aspect is going to be exciting to use those systems and actually build the content strategy and build the scene and the look and the feel and the mission statement. So, and then not only that, but the vocals, you know what I mean?
When did it dawn on you that you were an impressive person, or has it not even dawned on you yet? You're just on a path.
I think over the last 4 weeks, I finally told myself I'm a bad motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like, as lame as that may sound to people, like, you know me, I've always been like, I think when Steve was a huge mentor to me, you know, in this game, he saw something in me I didn't see, because I never pictured myself as a designer.
Mm-hmm.
But when he told me, he's like, bro, you have an eye for it, dude. And then I just got better and better and better. Then I was just a maniac. But I think within the last 4 weeks, when I was building out these brands and able to do everything I told myself I was going to be able to, that's when I was like, I finally told my wife, I was like, you know, everything that was kind of happening, I looked and I was like, I deserve this. Like, and she watched me work behind the scenes on a lot of different things, dude. And for me to finally sit back and go, I think that's when it finally dawned on me and gave me the confidence that, like, I am the baddest. Like, you saw that story I did last Tuesday while we were on our call.
Yeah.
I was like, I am the fucking best. You know what I mean? Because I mean, I may not be the best graphic designer, but I know I can outwork anybody. I know I've got the work ethic to be at the top.
What was the turning point for you, though, to be able to say that to yourself with confidence? You know what I mean? Because we tell people that all the time. You have to be willing to say, I'm the best at this.
I think it's actually doing what I was going to say I was going to do.
Yeah. Follow through.
I over-delivered and under-promised myself.
Yeah.
If that's a thing, like, the goal I had set, like, I did more than I expected, you know, like, I went above and beyond. Yep. And then that's when I think it was one of the people I just teamed up with. I mean, one of the best in the industry, to be doing it for 30 years, for him to give me a title that he did and bring me in as a partner, from just the amount of brands and companies he has grown. I mean, the dude could work with anybody, but when I backed up everything I told him I was going to do and some, I think that's when I was like, I belong in these rooms. Yeah. Like, I am up to par. And I was like, I am a bad motherfucker.
Over like the three plus years that I've known you, it has always been impressive. And I think guys like you, and maybe in part myself, because I'm still always going to be my biggest critic, but like some people, not a lot of people, but some people, it takes them a long time to realize that you can see yourself like others see you. You know, and I've told even my wife, I've told her 100 times, I wish I could see me the way that you see me.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, sometimes you say that because you wonder, like, you feel like someone may have a negative opinion of you. They're just not letting it out. Other times, you know, they see you in such a light that you just have a hard time being able to realize. And I think you've gotten to that point where it's like, this is why.
Yeah. It's been like, even, you know, I'll talk to my stepdad, dude, someone who's a blue collar boy, works since he was 17, always had a secure job. I mean, from the day I graduated high school and joined a band, dropped out of college, and then looked my parents in the face and was like, I will be signed in 1 year. I will be playing Ozfest. I will be signed to a national label. And to do that in under a year after a broken neck and a damn near fatal accident, and my family to come to a House of Blues show sold out within like 3 years of my career. They're like, holy fuck, you did it. And then we were gone for 8 years. And then it was one of those things where it's like, hey, I'm going to go to culinary school and become a chef. And they're like,
Yeah.
what the fuck you mean? I'm like, well, I love food and I'm going to go do it. You know what I mean? Go do it and then work at like my first job is a 5-star. I'm right under the sous chef, on my way to be a sous chef and open my own restaurant. And then fitness came around. And first week, I'm like, I'm going to own a gym. And it literally was like within 3 years, I opened a gym. So it's just one of those things. Like if I say I'm going to do it, I have the courage and the work ethic to actually fucking fulfill it.
And I think there comes a point. Here's what I love about you is you've been the king of the pivot, and it's not because you always like you're never satisfied necessarily. It's not that you consistently change your mind. It's because you pivot hard and you own it every time. I mean, I've heard your story hundreds of times. I could recite your story for you to a room full of people. Yeah. But that is branding. You know, the biggest thing not a lot of people talk about when it comes to branding is what people say about you when you're not around really is the defining element of your brand. And when you tell your story so consistently, so frequently, so articulately, and with so much passion that someone else can repeat your story for you, that's branding.
It's a gnarly thing, dude. When I'll tell people like half the story, they're just like, holy fuck, you've been through a lot. And I never really, I look back and go, holy shit, I've lived quite the life and I've experienced more things than most humans will on this earth. And I sit back and I don't take it for granted. It's built me into what I am today. And I feel like I haven't even scratched the surface.
Yeah.
At 43, I'm satisfied, but I know there's so much more because what I've done in the last 5 years, you know what I mean? That's why I'm really excited about this new band and the projects. And then just everything I'm kind of getting into, dude, is like I never thought of myself as an entrepreneur. And I look back, I'm like, fuck, I guess I've been an entrepreneur since I was 18 years old, traveling the world. You know what I mean? Like I've always found a way to fucking make money by doing what I love without checking in with somebody.
I don't think entrepreneurs ever call themselves entrepreneurs until enough people have told them like,
well, it's weird, dude. I never heard the term intrapreneur until that's basically what I was doing in the last leadership was, you know what I mean? I still don't understand the term. I've heard it loosely, but you're basically an entrepreneur in somebody else's business, right?
To a degree. Like, so what I understand about being an intrapreneur is you get to do all of the work, learn all of the lessons, be a huge face in something without all of the stress and the struggle.
Or the risk, no risk.
Entrepreneurs still get to go home and be a person.
Yeah.
You know, but sometimes there's a lot of confusion where you are the entrepreneur, but you're doing it for the success of another human being, which I think is where the gray comes in, which is where the superpower comes from. Because I've done that before. I spent my life thinking I was being of service to people because I thought I owed a lot of people a lot of things because I've been saved so many times in ways that I didn't realize until later. So I always thought like I wanted to give back to people to such a degree because I was so grateful for what it was I was able to live through. But what I realized was I was a people pleaser. I was doing a shit ton of stuff for a shit ton of people with very minimal, if any, return.
Yeah.
Solely because of whether it was snake oil or it was these unspoken expectations that eventually turned into resentment or just the hope and a prayer that I'll be able to prove myself to such a degree that inevitably I will get to a certain place. But eventually it's like, doesn't ever work that way. You know, the fine line between being of service and being a people pleaser is solely, are you being selfish or are you being selfless? And selfless sounds really good, but it also means that you don't prioritize yourself at all in the process of.
See, I think I was that for a long time. And I've played it pretty safe. I couldn't say I've gone all in, but I've taken a shit fucking ton of risk. But I've had a lot of success with other people's money too. Like when I had my gym, there was an investor. I did put a lot of savings into it, a lot of my sweat equity and time, but I can't take full credit. I wasn't self-made,
Yeah.
but I still worked my ass off as if it was my money.
Yeah.
And that's the difference. A lot of people will say you wouldn't work that hard, but a lot of people don't know me like that.
Yeah.
Everything. And same thing with the band. It's like, I can't take all the credit because there's 4 other dudes, 17 different members.
Yeah.
It took a fucking tribe to build that thing. I just happened to be the lead vocalist of it and fucking was a maniac.
Yeah.
That's where I learned marketing and fucking AOL days and MySpace. And we're talking about apparel. I mean, fuck, man. We had to buy a screen printer. We'd sit there and fucking script the shirt, air dry the fucking thing with the dryer, hang it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, people don't understand. Now you just go to Printful and just boop. I want 400 shirts.
We used to do shows with like Necromantics, Flatfoot 56 Against Me, like the old punk bands.
Oh, yeah.
And dude, we were 16 to 20 using like the speedball green film, cutting things out with X-Acto blades, like doing our own cutouts, not even burning screens. And we were pumping out merch by hand in my mom and dad's garage, like doing it all manual. And looking back on it, it's like that's what made me good at tattooing before I knew tattooing was what I wanted to do. Without any idea tattooing would become what it was just being a punk rock degenerate that wanted to do things as street as possible because I didn't have resources. I had no revenue coming in. I was literally still in high school, like calling in, like pretending I was my parents to go play punk shows like across the state and shit.
Yeah.
And that was the starting stage. I think everybody, I would hope everybody has a story that they can attach it all the way back to where this was the thing that gave me a fire, that gave me a spark,
Yeah. I think it was the same thing. I mean, that's all I was doing in 8th to 12th grade was personal branding when I didn't even know. It was just more guerrilla marketing, but everywhere I went, got a fucking sticker on it. Everywhere I went, got a CD or cassette. Mm-hmm. Everywhere I went, somebody got a shirt. Every event I went to, I had a backpack full of just merch. Yeah. And I would not leave there until half the fucking crowd was wearing that shit. And I was like, same thing in my punk rock days. A fucking Sharpie. I mean, dude, I've got this. Like, this is a fucking patch. I don't even know how we got this fucking made from an old punk band I was in. But we made sure these were on 40 different fucking leather jackets.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, like, same thing. I mean, like, here's one of my original Manta stickers. I made this myself. I think I used paint back then. I think it was paint. I don't even know what font that is. It looked the coolest. But, I mean, dude, like, everything we did, I mean, my whole office is filled with it. But I think that's the difference, too. But I've met a lot of punk rockers that definitely are not anywhere near us.
Yeah.
But they were usually the gutter punks that were passed out in the fucking ditch or piss on themselves.
Yeah. Well, and
not saying that I didn't do that.
I was gonna say I was that gutter punk who was just covered in piss. I
just happened to get the job done before I pissed myself or puked all over my mom's couch.
Yep. Yeah.
But and dude, that's what we tell people, dude. And that's and I said this on the last call or the call before. It was like we're gonna start seeing that a lot more as people want that connection. And it's like I tell these coaches and these tattoo artists and these barbers is like, if you're not wearing your own shirt in 2025, like, what are you fucking doing?
Yeah.
If you don't have and I know business cards are obsolete or whatever, but it's still powerful to have a card with your name or some kind of contact. Even though we've got everything else, it's like, it feels cool to still get it. No matter what you do with that card, you're going to see it and be like, that's fucking cool.
I don't want to discredit the value of the card, but I do want to make it very... Yeah, my camera's been cutting in and out. You like that?
That was awesome. I was waiting for that, and then it's like, no!
And shorter.
Yeah, you shrunk, Mikey. Yeah, put the what's the thing called where you fix the image?
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was a good start.
I fucking hate this camera. I keep changing the settings so it doesn't do like the auto shut off, but it tells me to fuck myself all the time. Well, we made it a good 30 minutes.
I mean, our goal was 30 minutes.
We'll add a to be continued to that.